Hello, everyone. This is Rhaegar. I write Ezrin Feeler on Royalroad, and I'm part of the Dawn of Writing. With me is Hesketh. Why don't you introduce yourself quickly? Tell us what you do.
Hi, I'm Hesketh. I write Twilight Kingdom and Let's Just Get Stitches, and I'm also here
Yeah,
in
and
some
also
capacity
fair.
as human.
The last is Brooke. What do you do?
Hey guys, my name's Brooke. I'm an editor over at Portal Books. Been editing for like half a decade, longer than that now, more than that. But I've been editing stuff for a while now, and I also write my own books. And sometimes I know what I'm talking about. Most of the time, I don't.
So
we
all like writing and reading. And we wanted to initially do a podcast about just topics related to writing, but at some point it got kind of stale.
We weren't very good at that.
I think it was all right, though.
Okay,
Some
fair.
of that stuff wasn't
fair.
bad. It's just that, I feel like at some point you just kind of get the views people have, and the topics are just maybe not specific enough if you don't have examples. So we did have a section where we talked about text, and I suggested looking at my first published fiction called Dawn, which is on Royalroad. And that was just kind of funny. And at some point we realized that was actually way more fun to record, just us reading through that old text and making comments about it and just kind of laughing about the plot and all of the beginner mistakes that I did and making speculations. And also just, I think it's super helpful to make examples how it could be done better instead of talking vaguely about things like pacing or prose or characterization, when you have actual characters that you could use as an example. So we decided to just make that into kind of a podcast and read through the story,
which is what
this
we've
recording
done.
is what?
Which is what we did.
Yeah, exactly. And we recorded way too many episodes, and it's been kind of fun. And we've also looked at other texts in this time. And the reason why this recording is this is recorded after episode 1, because I think what we chose to be episode 1, the start to that, is just kind of vague. We don't really explain very well what this is. So we wanted to add this before episode 1 to make it clear what this is. So we're going to talk about Dawn. A bunch of people that are interested in writing, have experience with writing and editing. And it's mainly for just entertainment purposes. Just if you vibe with the vibe that we have and with the humor that we have, then you're going to enjoy it. There's going to be cursing as well, and just weird theories about some fucked up shit and plot ideas, and we're not going to get through a lot of text very fast. And
it's not formal. It's not formally educational, I will say that.
No. Yeah, maybe it's educational to some people.
You guys should listen to it. We like it. It's good. Go listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, they can try and see what happens. I don't like this ending.
I just assume.
I'm gonna edit out this ending.
I just assume it's. Yeah, no,
I feel like the whole thing needs a ton of editing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, it totally needs editing, like so much else in the world. But I was going to say, I just assume people are going to treat it like a drinking game, so...
Yeah, I say a lot of... No, I'm not going to say that because then it's actually going to piss people off. But that's just one phrase that I said a lot in episode 2, and I was so annoyed by that when I listened to it again.
Oh, I want to know what it is. No, I can't
what was the phrase?
I mean, so you can find out by listening to episode 2. This is the explanation. Welcome to the Dawn of Writing. Enjoy episode 1, where we talk about the prologue of Dawn, which is a story that you can find on royalroad.com. You can go to my profile, Rhaegar, or you can search Google for Dawn and Rhaegar, or go to my profile through Ezrin Feeler, and you'll find it.
If you want to read along.
We're also going to link it, of course, wherever we're going to post this, and mention which chapter we're on. Or you can just listen because we're reading. And early on, I also didn't generally specify when I'm reading, so that could be a little confusing. But if you find it confusing and disjointed, then just don't listen to it and listen to something else or do something else in your life if it has value. And that's it.
I feel like
that's episode 1.
That's the longest intro ever known to man.
If you want to listen to it or not, don't do something with your life.
This is a podcast where we make fun of you for listening to our own podcast.
That's take 1. Transition noise. Enjoy episode 1. Yeah, my creative writing. All right. So
was this the first thing you wrote? This is the first thing that you put on Royalroad. Had you written before this?
I mean, I've written words before, but not like in a sense that I was like, oh, I'm going to write fiction. This was like the first time I was like, I'm going to write a story. And yeah,
nice.
That came out of it. So yeah, so if you guys are ready, prologue.
I'm so ready.
Okay. So it starts with prologue. Georg, or it's not George, it's like Georg. I think it's like I don't know what the origin of that would be, if it even exists. Right. Dear mother, it is finally Christmas again. I hope from the bottom of my heart to soon return to you, Adriana and Livia again. Yeah, I guess it's a letter. Make sure Adriana is eating enough and tell Livia again not to go to the forest alone. She knows it's dangerous. We dealt another devastating blow to the Alliance in Berlin last month. We might even advance all the way to Madrid this winter. Pray for my safe return and for the Empire. Yours, Georg. Okay, I mean, we can talk about that, I guess. I mean, maybe as an additional info thing, this is like something I wrote like 6, 7, maybe longer years ago. And I have no idea. I don't remember a lot of it. So we basically discover it with you guys. And we're just going to make comments on what we see. Yeah. So what do you guys think about starting with a letter?
I don't hate it.
I mean...
Well, yeah, I mean... Me neither. It's just whatever. It's like, yeah, it introduces, I guess, that the guy has like a family. Obviously setting up something horrible to happen to everyone, right? And yeah, I mean, some names like Berlin and Madrid are like known, I guess. So
I think one of the things that just straight up is always an issue with books is like people just in general. Some people, if they see the word prologue, will just literally not read a book. I don't have any issues potentially with prologue, just like the nature of a prologue. Like there can be good prologues and bad prologues. Mm-hmm. I think like we probably don't know enough about Dawn to know necessarily whether this is a bad prologue.
I know he's a character that comes up again. So he's like one of the different points of views, I believe.
People get very emotional about prologues. It's quite strange.
I don't really.
I've
don't
seen...
really mind, I guess. I wouldn't do it anymore now. I don't know. Because I'd rather just start with the story and the characters. Like, then you immediately know who it's about and everything. Like, I mean, the idea of a prologue, like, traditionally speaking, is like to do something else, right? Not to do it with the characters that you have afterwards, so...
Well, it depends. I mean, I'm actually a fan of... I'm team prologue, but it has to be a good prologue. I like it to be relevant. I like it to tell us something that we don't know, or to set, stakes, or to introduce something. But I know, as Brooke says, a lot of people will just skip it because they feel like it's... I feel like if it is skippable, then it's probably not a good prologue.
Yeah, but I just argue you can set all of that up with a character that you're gonna use again. Like, I mean, we talked about like the Song of Ice and Fire thing before with the...
Yeah, I'm a fan of
whole,
killing
like, White
everybody
Walkers and everything.
In the first chapter. I like that.
It's alright, I guess. Not the worst, but I think I also... you could do the same with like having the protagonist survive or something, or like one of... just at least the character that is gonna be relevant again instead of just killing everyone, I guess. I don't know. maybe even like from the point of view of like the villain or something could work, I guess. But it's just text dedicated to something that's not going to be the story, I guess. And I think a lot of people, as Brooke said, it's like they just don't read it or skip it, or even just
Well, I think
don't
especially
read the
if it's like a world building dump of exposition,
yeah, like
then
people
it's
don't.
a bit like, eh.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like 20 years ago, people had the time to do that, but now they're just like Prologue. Where I'm going to read something else. I have 10 other books in my.
I think that's one thing you could say about the opening paragraph is I think it suggests that there's going to be a lot of exposition in this prologue, because you already get a bunch of named characters that we don't know about.
That are not going to be relevant at all, I believe.
Yeah, and that's always an issue. And
And
then you
there's a
also get
war.
like, references to like the Alliance and the Empire and stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And it's kind of suggesting that what this prologue is going to do is just establish a bunch of stuff that we're not really going to know about yet that might become relevant later on. And people are just going to go, no, I want to know what's happening in the story. I just skip ahead to the stuff that matters.
Yeah. I mean, the issue is as well, like, I think I mentioned that when we started looking at Dawn, because I looked at the prologue when we first looked at it, and I was like, let's do chapter 1 because the prologue is kind of irrelevant. Because
interesting.
I mean, I'm not going to spoil it now. We're going to discover it together, but we'll see how relevant the prologue is going to be, I guess. So, okay. So as we established, what's this thing called? That's before the to hell.
Punctuation, Rhaegar.
What?
Punctuation.
A punctuation mark.
No, apostrophe, sorry. I'm being
an apostrophe. I mean, I don't know the names because I just used them.
I don't know, Brooke, help us. You're the editor.
You don't know either one. Wow, this is such a what a great resource for writers. Wonderful. No, he doesn't know either. He just does development editing.
I mean, in my opinion, if I was going to, write a prologue that I thought was going to be engaging, I would never start it with something like a letter that is this passive, because nothing actually happens in that paragraph. I would either start it with something happening to someone and then have the letter be later on in the prologue, or I would have the letter not be there at all and have someone tell someone else the important parts from this letter. Because also reading that letter, it doesn't strike me that there's anything that we absolutely as readers need to know from that letter.
It's just kind of like world building. Like you could also just add that later on, or just sprinkle it in some random conversation. It doesn't. It's not a hook. It's just, oh yeah, okay. So I guess this world is at war or something. Yeah. Okay. So let's start. That's like a thought thing. So like, to hell with the fucking Empire. 7 years already are we fighting, and there is no end in sight. Okay, that's just again very expository. Just, I don't know. It just seems strange for him to think that, like, if it's been 7 years, maybe he's just tired. Like, he still seems annoyed about this. So these letters only make me think of the family I used to have in a life that seems distant after all this mindless slaughter. I like that sentence, but I don't like what it doesn't do anything.
And he's thinking it, and inside the single quotation marks, he's thinking it. He's not saying it.
Yeah, no, he's just thinking it. But it's like,
honestly, if this started with that sentence, to hell with the fucking Empire, 7 years, like that, for me, to hell with the fucking Empire is the first line. That's much more engaging to me.
It is. Like, it's still not. I still don't like it. It's better. So yeah.
We know how
it's better than a kind of indirect letter where nobody is really talking to anybody and nothing specific.
Yeah, no, that's true. The letters, like, you can just remove that. But like with this one, I like, my issue is more with characterization. Like, it's just, if this is true what he's saying, it's like, it seems strange. Like, it seems very like PG-13. Like they've been fighting with no end in sight. Like he has to be like shell-shocked and traumatized and just fucked up. Like just having him do something, like shooting at someone or something, or like walking through like a trench, like being fucked up, like he looks at his hands and they're fucked up.
Yeah, we don't know where he is.
Some shit
we don't
like that.
have any context for.
Yeah, it's just nothing.
He's just a floating head with
he's
a
basically
letter.
just like raising his hand, his fist to the moon, like, oh, the damn Empire with this 7-year war. Like, but it just doesn't strike me as real. It seems weird. And like
and that is the other problem with prologues, is they become like exposition notepads, basically, where the author just like writes a bunch of notes that you need to know instead of like real scenes. because like ideally in a prologue we have a real character experiencing a real thing.
Mm.
A prologue that I read in the past that I thought was really great, which was a prologue about like a kid's childhood, and you just basically see him go through this really traumatic event, and that's the prologue. And then it starts 20 years later, the actual book starts 20 years later, and the whole character is defined by this childhood trauma that he had.
Did his
And so the
entire
prologue is
village
like,
get destroyed, and did he have to survive for 5 days in a broken house?
Oh no,
he got
stop with the
tortured for
spoilers.
I think,
Oh,
something like that.
we don't know about that. It's strange.
Do not tease.
I don't know if I like that though. I mean,
I
I'm just
like it
saying
if
that
it's done well.
Then the readers know it's important, right? The readers know that the prologue has value to the rest of the story, and it's not purely exposition because it was something happening to a character. I think the point I'm more trying to make, less that, you know, the prologue and the nature of the prologue, but more that because it was from a specific character's point of view with a specific scene and was specifically happening in a specific place, it felt like a first chapter, but we knew it wasn't the actual first chapter of the book. It happens, you know, so long ago.
Yeah,
that for me was a more compelling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still like that.
Thinking about it.
Some of the language in that first thought is nice.
Yeah, I like the sentence, like, these letters only make me think of the family I used to have in a life that seems distant after all this mindless slaughter. It flows well. Yeah. Like, I like the flow of that sentence. Yeah, well, it doesn't do anything. Okay. He sighed while crumbling the letter in his hands. Okay, I like that. Because, like, he wrote it, obviously, and then he destroys it because he's like, this
very emotional.
Yeah, it's like show. It's the first thing that is shown in here. Everything else has just been told. So yeah, that's like way better than, like, you could leave out half the rest. Like, you could just to hell with the fucking empire. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to restructure it hugely, but yeah, okay.
But also, I don't think people really think in sort of like properly constructed sentences like that. You're sort of thinking, I don't know, because it's like he's telling. It's like, I guess, but it's like he's narrating it to someone.
Some characters
and there's no one there.
Verbose narrator type way. Some of them do. You know, if someone is, you know, very poetic in nature or is very learned in nature, if you're trying to set up the fact that this guy is like, you know, something of a verbose storyteller, then maybe you would have something like this. But like, maybe instead you would have it be a bit of a faltering thought where halfway through he just goes fuck ... or you know he just there, or maybe even break it up with some action from the character, because, you know, he crumples up the letter after he thinks it, but you could have him, to hell with the fucking empire, he, you know, crumpled up the letter and threw it into the you know, fire. Then he stopped into a chair and went, fuck, these letters, they just make me think of the family I used to have, life that seems ... distance after all this ... mindless slaughter.
Yeah,
you know,
just
then
not do it in a thought. You could just do it. You could just say that, like, the letters only made him think of the family he used to have.
True, you could do it as an indirect, and then it's the narrator that's being verbose and not the character.
Yeah, seems more reasonable than him thinking all that. I don't know.
Yeah, especially if he's like, it depends on what kind of character he is, but if he's like a barbarian who's like, you know, me kill now, squash person, then probably pretty bad.
I mean, it's more like, no, I think he's supposed to be like a bit thoughtful, I guess. All right, so where were we? They might not even be alive anymore. I don't want to think of it, but this winter has been harsh, even so far in the south. Again, just more exposition.
That one feels like it could just go. It feels very
Because, I mean, we know that way. Like, we know the war has been going on for 7 years, so like, he doesn't know. He's writing them the letters, so they obviously, in a war you wouldn't know, right? So
not necessarily. Also, like, I mean, it depends.
True, yeah, but then the issue is, like, he doesn't,
because we don't know the tech level.
He's just like, oh, sigh, they might be dead. I don't really, you know, like, it's like, really, man? Are you not, like, a bit more? Do you not give a shit? Like, yeah. And the winter bit is just
they might not
shitty,
be alive anymore. I think that sentence, if you punctuated it with some kind of action or some kind of, like, you know, he swore or he did something, they're not being alive anymore. Or even it's just like he's depressed about it and he just slumps further into his chair or something. But I don't want to think about it is like saying to yourself, I don't want to think about that.
I mean,
that is very weird kind of meta thing to think.
That whole part is just very telly. Like you could just do like couldn't be
Telly
alive
is the right
anymore,
word.
throwing the letters into the corner, and then he, I don't know, raises his jacket because the wind is very strong.
Oh,
and
no,
it's
no,
like cold as fuck, right?
You'll see he's inside, but that's a spoiler as well.
Wow, you spoiled yourself. Are you
Dead, I'm sorry.
Okay, wow.
I'm just so excited. I'm reading ahead.
This is an advanced reader. Like I can't read that fast. I mean, most like if what people say is true about reading through Ezra and Fila, they've probably read the whole story already in this time that we've been talking now. Okay. So he got up from the desk and went to pack his gear. Around 250 caliber rounds for a sniper rifle. Oh, I love it, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Let's go. I like 50 caliber sniper rifles. Is that obvious? Yeah, I think so. He even packed explosive rounds. Oh, fuck yeah. For the enemy drones and power suit users. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like that. It's badass. But I mean, that's because I like
also,
this.
Again, we're missing so much context because he's like reading a letter at a desk, and then it's like there's these hints that is like stuff exploding outside? Is he in an office block in a city miles from the front? Is he underground? Like, there's no context for where he is.
Yeah, I like this.
Like, how urgent is the packing?
Yeah, it seems pretty chill. I mean, he was like writing a letter before.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, looking at it. So it's like, it's just like, we're gonna leave now, I guess. So let's pack the explosive rounds for enemy drones and power suit. This is Fallout, though. Like, this is just Fallout. Like, you should play Fallout New Vegas if anyone's listening and has been thinking about it. Like, Fallout New Vegas is fucking awesome, and at some point you can get like an anti-material rifle with explosive rounds, and it's just the best thing in the world. It's pretty old now, though. Like, I don't know. It's not as enjoyable. When I played it first, it was just, oh my god, fuck yeah, dude.
And
the Fallout games in general have always been something I intended to play, but I just never got around to because I've never really had like a proper gaming PC or a proper like console to like play anything on. So I was always just like, I have to get a new computer and whatever. But
New Vegas
I feel like it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, New Vegas is really, really good. Like the gameplay and everything, it's pretty old now. It's like not that great anymore, but just the writing and everything, the characters are fucking phenomenal. Like it's outstanding, especially for like compared to the other Fallouts as well. I haven't played like 1 and 2, but compared to like 3, 4. Yeah. Alright, so power suits. Next to all the necessities like food, water, rope, sleeping bag, tent, night vision goggles, and much more, he of course got his bow. Okay, I guess it's just all the tropes.
So random.
I don't know. It's like, of course he gets his sniper rifle and his bow.
And his bow. Yeah.
It's also a bit much. Like, next to all the necessities, like, I mean, I list everything. I do that with the new thing too, though. Like, I mean, we haven't mentioned it yet, but like, I guess we'll get to it when we're at chapter 1 or whatever. We can talk about Kate again.
Am I the only one that like sees a weird kind of juxtaposition between the fact that he's talking about enemy drones, parachutes, and 50 caliber rounds, but the scene opens up with like a handwritten, it seems, letter?
No, it's very strange. I'm very confused. That's what I meant about the tech level.
Yeah, it feels jarring to me that the two of these, and that might be the intention. That, it's supposed to be this like ancient / modern world, combined. But definitely the introduction of the power suits and the enemy drones.
It's like Waterworld. Everything is there, but paper is super expensive, right? Or something. I don't know. Oh, was it cigarettes? Which it didn't really make any sense, but whatever.
The Royal Mail still, it works.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I haven't put a lot of thought into these thingies because spoiler alert: this isn't a sci-fi story and it's not a modern story. So, yeah, a modern tech story. I mean, but yeah, let's go on. Rhaegar was a sharpshooter in the 15th division of the Great Saudi Empire. The 15th had the current objective to secure parts of the west coast of Italy in preparation of the coming invasion into... Alliance, territory, formerly Spain. Okay, again, exposition. Just remove that. It's like it's boring. Doesn't do anything. It's like, why? Just have him do something. I still only really trust you. He absolutely thought as he eyed his bow. That is very romantic. Is this
I feel the same way about my bow.
Is this like a bow, bow smut story? Like, is this gonna turn into like bow? Something with bow.
I don't dislike it, actually. Like, to be honest,
no.
that is the only...
It's so edgy, dude.
But the only thing that he said in here that gives me an idea of what his character is like, apart from, like, you know, just some exposition...
I mean, what does it mean he loves his bow more than his wife and family, it seems? Like, he had no, like, reaction to
he's
them.
He's like, the tech has let him down, and that's why he has to write letters with a quill and ink and...
Yeah, but that's not really
cart around bow with his explosives.
I mean,
I like that idea,
it's
but
super cliche.
It's not. It's not really there. You're just like adding that now as like a.
Oh, we're just grasping.
Yeah,
our own interpretations of.
It's very graspy. Like, this is just edgy. Like, oh my bow, my power bow with explosive arrows, probably, right?
I'm now imagining him doing, like, you know those, like, supervillain reveals where they spin around in the chair and they've got a white cat and they, like, stroke it, but instead of a cat, it's like a bow, and he's like
pings the string and it goes ping.
Yeah, it's like in the way, and like when he turns the chair, it's like gets stuck in the table, and it's like, oh no, it's like my bow though. It's like, you know, he's really good at organizing, but his bow obsession is just a little weird, right? Absolutely, his bow. It was more a heavy bow. Yeah, I knew that. Like, I knew that was coming. Considering the explosive arrows, yeah, I knew that was coming. I didn't read ahead. He primarily used weights. What? Weight over 80 pounds? Well, considering
8 pounds. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, it's 8 pounds. How much is I think is it 2.5 something?
I don't know. I don't know enough Americans.
I mean, 8 is quite a lot, right? It's like 2 or 3 kilos, something like that.
We're getting a Hawkeye vibe.
I mean, no, it's like I mean, yeah, maybe with the description. I mean, there's not a lot of descriptions. It's heavy bow. It's probably like the Dark Souls, like great bows. Like the dragon.
It's 3.6 kilograms.
Oh,
That's
right.
quite heavy for
Dragon Slayer great bow from Dark Souls, which are like they're like bigger than like a person. So nice. Something like that, I guess. So I don't know. But like, how many of those does he have? Like 3.5 kilos is.
Well, we're about to find out.
Packing everything. No, we're not. Packing everything together, his gear weighed well over 200 pounds. But that would drop.
I love how his gear is so optimistic. Like, yeah, it's coming. Like, no, don't hope. Don't get your hopes up.
I mean, yeah, don't give me hope.
Something. This is also like a slight spoiler, but the way Rhaegar used to write, he was really good at telling us how much stuff weighed and how big it was, and you know, like he was there with the measurements, which
with kilograms and pounds to make sure that I don't disappoint any readers.
Exactly.
I mean, I could have added more. Like England, there's different ones as well, right? Whatever.
Yeah, how many stone was it?
You know what?
Yeah, how many stone?
Actually raises an interesting point. Is that metaphors are always just so much more powerful than numbers in terms of when it comes to size and weight. Like if you say something was, 20 meters squared, or you say it's like it was as big as a house. Like, sure. I mean, there's exceptions to that rule, right? But like in general, if you're spending a lot of time saying how heavy or how like large something is in meters and grams, definitely change it up on occasion if you can with some more. It's similar to something, so people can get like a spatial awareness visual.
There's on Reddit, there's like different bots, right, for conversion stuff. Like sometimes when someone posts something like it was 200 pounds, then it's like the kilogram or like what's it called, the imperial system. Is it that one? I think so. Conversion bot, and then it just posts how much that is in kilograms. And there's like a bot I saw this week. I think it's like useless conversion bot, and it was something like, oh, that was 200 meters wide. And then it's like 200 meters is approximately 100 or like 1,328 replica swords of the Lord of the Rings sting.
Nice.
Like, shit like that, yeah.
Yeah, see, but you shouldn't need that when you're reading.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's useless. It's just a joke, right? But yeah, okay. So 20 pounds would drop to at least half as the mission went on. So like 100 pounds is just like stuff that he uses, like arrows, I guess. But he has like, wait.
Food
30,
and water as well.
20 arrows or something, yeah. Georg was always prepared for everything. Yeah, I mean, we got that. It's like just useless. It's just telling when shown before, I guess. I mean, he's prepared with like his explosive. I mean, he's prepared to explode stuff mostly. He has like an arrow, like a massive bow with explosive arrows, which begs the question: why does he have that if he has like a sniper rifle with explosive arrows?
Like, because it's cool.
Yeah, but like, I mean, bow and arrow is like, you know, it's like kind of a stealth thing, I guess, or like that would be the argument, I would say. But if it's like explosive arrows, it's like, what's the point?
It's good point. That is a good point.
But it is cool though, and like the range is also like not quite as high as like a sniper rifle. But maybe he's like super strong, so I don't know.
Well, like how much is 200 pounds? That's like a person, right? That's like a lot to be carrying.
How much is 200 pounds? I mean,
this is my point. Like when I'm trying to imagine 200 pounds, I'm like,
I think that works. I think like a kind of like a, what's it called in English? Like the protection vest you wear, or like a military person.
Oh,
it's like pretty fucking heavy. Yeah. That's like
bulletproof vest or whatever.
Yeah, it could be like 60 to 100 pounds even.
So it's a sneaky way to tell us he's buff.
I mean, you could argue that. I don't think I thought that far when I wrote it, but you could argue that. Sure,
I hear you. I mean,
it's like, that's what that's why I'm like, Georg was always prepared for everything. It's like, that's just a useless line, because the entire like prior section was just about that, right? So that's also a reason why he was one of the best. Only the best. Oh no, dude. Okay, he equipped his combat suit. Okay, I mean, now it works. Now you could argue that like he can just put stuff on there. He's not even buff. He's just like normal, but he has a combat suit. And stepped into the elevator that we know about. You know, the elevator that was mentioned before?
Yeah. As somebody who really enjoys descriptions, I'm finding the lack of contextual descriptions very off-putting.
Yeah, I just thought, you know, like if I can't do it better, like maybe the people who read it, like you would know how it, like, you know how you would like to have it look like. So you can just imagine that, you know. The snow is beautiful this winter. If only it wasn't for this slight diplomatic disagreement. Oh, what the fuck, dude. It's so confusing. Like, it's all over the place, man. It's so unfocused.
Like diplomatic disagreement should maybe be in like quotation marks, because that sounds like he's quoting somebody who's been like,
I love this.
Oh yes, so we've got this disagreement in the Middle East, and
yeah, I like this line as the first line for the chapter start, and then have him be a bit more snarky and a bit more of a dickhead, like, this fucking war. And my wife is annoying with her stupid letters that she wants. Like, just give me my explosive arrows and I'm gonna be fine. It's like, I don't know. I like that.
Well, because you know what? That sentence, we look at the sentence just by itself. The snow is beautiful this winter. We know that he is outside, that there is snow, that it's winter. So we basically are already imagining a snow-covered landscape.
Yeah.
It's very cold. And so we're like, cool,
like
we know we are, we're grounded.
Like, what is this like diplomatic disagreement? Like, what's that about?
And that also has a little bit of humor in it, right? Like,
exactly.
Draws you in.
This is like,
you know that it's
this is the first bit of character.
So you're getting a feeling for the character as well.
This is the first bit of character that I like. Like my bow. I would like to make out with my bow. That doesn't do it for me, man. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not. But this is cool. I like this. This is like slight Ilea vibes as well. Like, oh, there's a war. Yeah. But the snow is nice. I don't know. Okay, thought. Okay, so this is the first time I think thought was used. thought, Georg, as you rapidly approached the helipad?
See, I thought, is he approaching the helipad in the elevator? Is the elevator going really fast? Or
I think it's implied that he's already out now. Like
it's implied.
The elevator came up and then
we
he's
didn't
out.
we didn't get a transition.
Yeah.
We don't know if like the elevator was like see-through or
yeah, although it could be just he's driving up with the elevator to the helipad, which is at the top of whatever.
And he's so lonely. I mean, apart from his bow, like we don't know. Like, is he in an empty building? Like, where is everybody?
But is that really
like? Are they waiting for him? Is everyone dead?
If the bow is hot enough.
Is there anyone else in the elevator?
Yeah, his bow. It's very.
He got into a 20-person elevator. We just didn't mention it.
There's like jazz. There's like jazz playing.
yeah.
He looks at his.
I think everybody who reads about an elevator just automatically puts that in, right? They put in their head jazz music. I mean, that's all elevators.
I didn't think about it actually. I was like, oh, the snow is beautiful. It seems like kind of serene, like quiet, like snow, wintry. I don't know, but yeah, I suppose could be some elevator music. He silently stepped into the chopper. Okay, so he's suddenly there. Okay. Which lifted off soon after.
He's teleporting. He's like Ilya. He's blinking from the elevator to the snow to the helipad to the chopper.
But how far can he blink though? And like, is it like, what's the cooldown though? And like, is there like a limit? How much mana does it use? And like, what's the? Okay, that's another discussion, eh? Okay, let's not do that now. Okay. Insane how silent these things got in last year. Okay, that's a typo. I think that's the first typo I'm spotting though. So it's like. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's been
clean. Yeah. But in last
year,
I
would have put the thought George as he rapidly approached the helipad should have been on the same line as the thought.
But that's more like a formatting. I don't know.
Formatting.
I feel like that's something that I can forgive someone because it's like just maybe don't know how to format like a web novel. I guess.
It doesn't really hurt your understanding. So whatever.
Things got in the last year. I barely hear the rotos. I like that because it like implies that the tech is still developing and like quickly. So you're like, why is that happening? Like, is there like, I mean, there's a war going on, right? But like the war has been going on for 7 years, so it should be like 7 years of development, not like just the last year. So this would be an interesting line. I feel like if something like aliens had showed up and you're like, okay, the implication is there that there's like a war and because of something, tech has been developing really quickly. So maybe the war started because of something like that, or because aliens showed up, or like some ancient tech was found, or like magic was discovered, or some shit, right? So I like this line as kind of like a foreboding, kind of like a slight. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think again similar to the line where you had about the slight diplomatic agreement. There's a lot of context to what is being said here outside of what's actually being said. Like the idea that he can, barely hear the rotors when actually, like, to my mind, helicopters are some of the loudest things in existence. Like they're super loud.
Very,
so the idea that you've got this silent helicopter is it gives you a lot of world building stuff. It gives you a lot of the technology advanced really quickly and is still advancing, and also just the fact that he's surprised, kind of puts us in the situation where, he's not like a scientist. He doesn't know these things super well. So there's a lot of context here.
Yeah, it's really cool, actually. Yeah. And you're thinking instantly, I think of like some kind of like cyberpunk sci-fi kind of thing. Like this.
Well, right now, I'm assuming the helicopter is flying itself.
Like there's no pilot or? Because you're thinking the tech is so advanced. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. And no one else has been mentioned, so.
True. I mean,
that is my assumption, is that he's there on his own with his bow.
The last human alive.
Exactly.
With his bow.
And his crumpled letter.
Yeah. The last paper they ever used. He thought, as he, again, like should be in the same line, and as he slowly reopened his previously crumpled letter, we're having a reoccurring character moment. The letter's
it's like a tick.
Didn't he throw it away though?
No, I think we just said it would be better if he did.
No.
Yeah, I think I inserted him.
Oh, he said while crumpling the letter in his hand, and then he just held it. But afterwards, he prepared everything. So
he held it this entire time. Yeah. He got in the elevator, he got in the chopper, and he just held it.
No, not
held
just,
it in his clenched fist.
Not just.
It's like a character quirk. It's like the Wheel of Time. He's tugging his braid and smoothing his skirts, but instead he crumples his letter.
Yes,
I forgot they did.
But he did everything else, like preparing his pack, getting his sniper rifle and explosive ammo and 50 caliber rounds.
He did it one-handed,
It took a long time.
Rhaegar.
Yeah, I mean, he's just insane. It's like, what a badass dude. Okay, you doing all right? So here's the M dash. That was one of the
The M dash, the notorious M dash that we all agree is the future of writing.
Yes, definitely. So this is like a dialogue tag now. Just get used to it, man. This is future, man. I'm a trendsetter. 7 years ago, or when did I put 6, 7? I don't know. Some years ago. Okay. Sorry.
It's very beautiful.
You doing all right? You doing all right? His partner asked, feeling the changing mood. Georg only nodded once. Okay, so this should be. I think I had a discussion with several people about this. Like, it's just less confusing if you put like one character's actions into one paragraph. So here it would just be nicer to read, and I feel like here it works. Like, his partner asked, feeling the changing mood, and then it's like a new paragraph, because now Georg is doing something, and before it's like his partner asked, and then it's just this chunky.
Getting some real resistance to descriptions going on here. You really didn't like describing anything.
No, I mean, it's just, it was in my head, right? I imagined it, and I didn't really.
It's interesting because it's like there's just bits missing.
Yeah, because I just didn't really think it was necessary to, because I was just imagining it, right?
Yeah.
I had to learn to put stuff down to be like, hey, how does someone actually see that, right? But back then I was just like, yeah, obviously.
Just something that didn't interest you.
Yeah, I guess I didn't. Maybe I didn't really write to. I didn't put a lot of thought into it. Like, I was just like, oh, I want to write this down to imagine it. Maybe like kind of like this daydreaming exercise, and less like I'm gonna write a novel that someone can imagine. Right. Kind of made it up as
like
I
an
went.
Active writing brainstorm or something.
Yeah, like maybe even the sniper rifle. Maybe in the next line I forgot that was already a thing. So I was like, a bow would be cooler. So I just added the bow then. So we'll see. Maybe I don't think it comes up again, but whatever. Okay, Georg only nodded once.
I mean, that's true discovery writing, right? Like, this is like pure discovery. You're discovering from sentence to sentence.
Absolute discovery writing. like every sentence is new. It's like this game where you fold a paper, and everyone writes like one line, and then you fold it again and give it to the next person, and they write one line. They only see the previous line.
Yeah, I've played that.
They only see the previous line, right? So it's like that, but just because my brain is just not very good, right? My memory is so bad, I just forget everything except for the last line. Georg only nodded once. He was known to not talk as much as others. Oh my god. He's such an anime protagonist, dude. Himself? It hurts, man. It's just painful.
Is he brooding now?
Yeah. Oh, he's just such a man. Ugh, with his bow. He was also known to be less dead than others.
Yes.
I mean...
Dead? What the fuck? I was like, did I mishear? No. He was also known to be less dead than others.
It's just kind of funny, but why?
What does that mean? If I trusted the author more, I would find that sentence quite intriguing.
He was also known to be less dead than others. I mean, it just means he's a survivor, right? It's like, he's the badass.
Yes.
Or is it like?
I think what you're trying to.
Is it confusing for you guys because it doesn't make sense in English? Because to me it makes sense, but maybe because I'm not native.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay, so it just means like he's a survivor. Like, he's known to survive. I guess.
Was the point here to say that because he's quiet? Because you said here he's known not to talk as much as others. Is the direct link here? He doesn't talk as much, and therefore he hasn't been killed in combat because he's,
I think it's more
like
oh, he's silent, but it doesn't mean he's not badass.
Oh, there's more coming.
Right,
okay, let's continue. Okay. We can talk about the paragraph. Okay, let's do the whole paragraph. This chunky boy.
Fair.
Okay, but here's the descriptions, right? Finally, like, he doesn't talk.
Oh, thank goodness! Yay!
I mean, it's character description doesn't really count, right? You want like rooms and windows and weather.
The way you say it, like rooms,
like clouds,
descriptions of rooms and clouds,
fucking sunlight and shit like that. It's generally
advised. I do.
It's generally advised to be silent in the 15th division. Being on the front can easily alert sound mules. Or what? A new variant of mind reacting to spoken language. I mean, is that
It's kind of interesting.
Is that the first original idea I've ever had in my entire life? And like it remained the first and only. Like they started to pop up around this time 2 years ago. An early Christmas present from the Alliance. This is why the rookies always ask why nobody sings anymore. I like that a lot. This is cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That last line is very cool.
Yeah.
That last line, again, it conveys so much other stuff about the world, right? Nobody's singing anymore suggests that the world has become like harsh and dull and cruel, and people can't even sing because they'll die. You know, that really gives me
awesome.
some...
Yeah. I just like sound mules. Like, what the fuck?
Sound mules. Yeah, what is a sound mule? It's so evocative.
A new variant of minds reacting to, but just spoken language. Like, I mean, good thing they have explosive arrows, right? Don't hear that. It's fine.
Also, why is it spoken language and not just noise? Like, they're reacting to spoken language.
Yeah, but like that makes sense. Like, I mean, if a bird flies through, it's like noise, right? Or like if a bird makes a sound, like you need like
so
and you could also
just, like...
you could also specifically be like, hey, we want like people who speak that language to die, and if
this is like intense world building.
That's pretty
it's
cool.
Pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Someone steal that idea and make it cool. Put it in something better. Yeah, inhaling the cold air, rushing next to the flying chopper, Georg almost felt nostalgic. So this is like. All the mentions of winter and snow before could be removed with just this, like inhaling the cold air, rushing next.
Yeah, that's a cool line.
Past, I guess, next.
So you got inspired, you warmed up.
I mean, he's cold though, but yeah, I guess. Another fucking year. Again, like this is not, now it's good. Like what's happening? The only thing that's keeping me together is blasting another one of those Alliance shits. Yeah, I like that. Why can't it all just end? Yeah. I mean, this is like way cooler a character than what he is at the start of this chapter. Or like this prologue.
I honestly, as we said earlier, if you started this prologue with the snow is beautiful in winter and just went down from there, for me that was great. You could get rid of the, he reopened the letter or, you could remove a couple more lines, but the majority of the stuff that happens after that is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
The ideas are very cool. It's just...
Yeah, because I mean, we did talk about chapter 1, part of it. We didn't get very far before, and it's not very good. But this is like a part of this is pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I don't know. There's like a lot of world building here that is irrelevant after this, but we'll get to that. Okay, so. Oh fuck, Georg, check this out. Shouting, I guess. Dimitri. Oh, we know a new person appears suddenly, like teleporting, blinking into the chopper.
See, I would assume that Dimitri was his partner, or did his partner didn't have a name? Yeah, I would assume it was his partner.
Well, it was actually mentioned before. I forgot.
Was it?
Because his partner asks, you're doing all right. His partner asks, feeling the changing mood. Yeah, so
minor like nitpicking there, like, introduce them by name first and then switch to calling them partner. Like,
do I agree? I don't know. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but it's just kind of like, I sometimes like to introduce stuff and then suddenly like, oh, you're actually this guy, because I don't know. Like sometimes real life feels like that, like when you like people are kind of in the background until they're not, right? So like,
oh yeah, for sure. And I think you can definitely do that if you're doing like an omnipresent narrator where you say like,
yeah, I was going to say like if the character knows,
scar or whatever.
True, but
if the character sees Mary, she sees Mary. If she sees a girl, then she sees someone whose name she doesn't know, because you don't like walk into a room and see someone and go, oh look, there's a girl. You go, oh look, there's my wife, or oh look, there's Mary the greengrocer or whatever. So when it's told from a specific point of view,
I remember her.
Generally give names first, but like, I mean, you can still take poetic license.
But we also know that I still have no idea how to do like the focused point of view. So yeah,
this maybe a little bit of this. Yes, maybe.
But to the south, pointed vaguely southwards would have been much better. turning his head towards the mentioned event, Georg saw.
Oof.
What?
Oof. Towards the mentioned event.
Mentioned event.
Yeah.
I do not like that.
Yeah, no. I don't even want to talk about it. Georg saw the moving forest, the falling snow, and high above it, he saw fire. Yeah,
Now that I like.
it's fine.
The second half is lovely.
Finally Christmas. Yeah, I like that. It's just, I don't know, I like
the moving forest, the falling snow, and high above it, he saw fire.
Yeah. It's not there was fire. It's not like fire, but he saw fire. I like the above it, he saw fire. There's power in that sentence. It's nicely crafted, that sentence.
It's like metal starts playing.
If you ignore the...
He's like aiming. Yeah, exactly. He's getting one of the explosive arrows. He's just aiming.
Yeah.
This is the start of like the movie sequence where like the theme song goes bah, 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 and it's like then he's like finally Christmas, and it's like
and I just shoots a bunch of people in Nam, right? Finally Christmas. The only thought that came to his mind as he saw the likely end of this war descending over Europe. The spectacle didn't take longer than 2 minutes to astonish. A blinding flash could be seen on the horizon all over the world, as life itself turned into dust. As of yet unknown, this event would later go down in history as the hour of hope. Yeah.
That escalated quickly.
I mean, yeah, it's just a lot. And like, I mean, this is like omniscient again, right?
Yeah, you've gone to omniscient in the last paragraph for sure.
But I don't hate it. It's just kind of like, why though? I don't know. It's just weird.
I mean, you can be omniscient. It's fine. Like you just need to have the whole thing.
Oh no, I'm not bothered by that. I don't really care. Like just whatever.
But the ideas here are all actually pretty cool. It's just the execution.
You know what would be cool if this would continue as a post-apocalyptic kind of fiction, which it doesn't. It's just fantasy. it's like what? Why? I don't know.
Yeah, and this is where I think you'll get some people who might not like the prologue, because if the prologue really
they're gonna be like, oh fuck yeah,
there.
This is cool, this is like a sci-fi, and like the people that are looking for fantasy are gonna be like, fuck this shit, I don't care.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So like
because,
from marketing
again,
and like
we know too much.
It's horrific. Like everyone that would like the story afterwards, would like the actual story, it has already left, and everyone that likes this is gonna be disappointed. So
yeah, because what happens to Georg, it doesn't matter. Moving on to fishing.
I mean, just one large fish, though. No, the issue is just like, I mean, I guess for people that want to write, like, it's important to kind of, like, if this is the prologue, like, just stay true to the themes. Like, just at least, like, I mean, you introduced like sound
give us
mules.
a taste of what we're going to.
I want to know.
Get.
I want to see a sound mule now, and I want to see him use his fucking explosive arrow bow, and I want to see.
Well, yeah, you're making promises to your readers that you're going to explain or explore certain issues, and then if that doesn't happen, it's very disappointing.
And it's also fine if it's like kind of like a post-apocalyptic thing where like the tech doesn't work anymore, everything's destroyed, but there's still going to be remnants. And then if like someone is like later on in like chapter 50 or whatever, there's going to be like some kind of weird, strange sound, and someone is like, wait, that's a sound mule, and you're gonna be like, oh, holy shit, I've heard that name before, and you're like, and then they have to speak a different language to get around it or some shit like that, right? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, right. But it's fantasy
I'd read that.
about fishing. It's not.
Man, I forgot how boring the next chapter starts off.
Yeah, this is and you made us start on chapter 1.
The next chapter, there's just like 2 people fishing.
I mean, no, they're running away.
We took a really long time to read it.
Immediately.
There's wolves and blood and berserking, but it takes a while. Yeah, but there's a lot of fishing first.
Yeah, the blood fart cloud. I forgot about the blood fart cloud.
We did talk a lot about like very little text in the next one. Like when we first talked about it, we went really deep. Like I don't know. So maybe it's going to be a bit quicker.
I think this prologue was better written than the first chapter, honestly.
I agree, actually.
It had some really good writing.
This is quite hooky.
I mean, it's hooky after the first, like, everything until the elevator and, like...
But it's relatively short. This isn't a lot of words.
No, the snow is beautiful this winter. If only it wasn't for this slight diplomatic disagreement. That everything before that, just remove it, dude. Except for maybe like his, staring at the bow. Like, I still only trust you, my bow. He didn't even name the bow. He should.
My precious.
He should name precious. He should name the bow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, that's the prologue of Dawn. I guess it's better than expected. It's gonna get worse. Like, I mean, we know that. Like, the next chapter is gonna be worse. I don't know.
They talk about making promises to your readers. Here's the promise: it's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse.
I also
Buckle
know.
up,
Yeah.
lads.
No, I remember some stuff. But there's like some sparks of inspiration, I guess. I mean, which is nice. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that
I find
whenever, like, there's going to be lots of people out there listening to this, right, going like, I've got this amazing idea and it's going to be so amazing. And I think, like, when you've, sat down to write this, right, you had an idea in your head and you were just like, I want to get this down on paper. I think a lot of people will start their stories that way, where they just have these cool ideas and they slap them down, and then they might show it to somebody and someone will go, this is crap. Now, they're not they might be saying this, but they're not necessarily saying that idea is crap. They might just be saying that your execution is crap. So, like, if you tidy up this prologue, like, start at the second half, pick those really compelling sentences, and actually ran with some of the really cool ideas that you seeded in there and added them to the the rest of the book, there's a really cool idea here. But you might have shown it to somebody and they might have gone like, this is awful, and then you get discouraged and you don't continue it. So I think there is actually something to be said for this prologue to say, hey guys, like, you have a cool seed of idea in there, something you really are excited about and you like.
I also like it, like,
throw it away.
Like, if it's like a post-apocalyptic thing, like, if chapter 1 is like, if there's like a date here at the very start, like 2077, right? And then when they actually patch the game, it's the next chapter is going to be like 2099. And then you're like, holy shit, like 20, 30 years passed, right?
Yeah, context.
And then it's like
missing context.
Then it's like, oh shit, like this explosion happened and now we're like in this fucked up world. But we know that these things that were established here, like kind of this tech is somewhere around, I guess. Or like there's like already intrigue of like, oh, we're going to find an old bunker that has some of these weapons stored, right? And then you could, I don't know, it just seems like a cool thing, like as a prologue, it can work. Yeah, if it's Georg, I guess. Or maybe like you could do something like Last of Us with this, like with Georg showing up later, with like, I mean, Gwyneth, who's the character in the next chapter, spoilers alert, she's supposedly 12, right? So he could show up and help them or something. Right, and like
he could be like a grizzled old man.
Yeah, like Logan.
Yeah.
And then it's badass. And then you could be like, yeah, he's showing her how to build explosive arrows, and she just has this awkward thing where at night she sees him making out with his bow, and they come together and shit like that. Seems like a good idea. There's one comment on this.
Yeah, you got a comment. Nice.
Is it in real world? Or is it already in virtual reality? Was it? I don't think it was ever mentioned that it's going to be a VR story, but whatever.
Oh.
What is it? Tags dropped. I love that. Yeah.
And you didn't respond to them either.
There are only
like,
small elements from VR RPGs. Yeah, okay, so I did mention it in the thingy. But I mean, we can talk about blurbs as well at some point, but this one, I don't want to look at it. No.
I mean, when you talk about promises being made to readers, the blurb is definitely a big one, but I think that's like almost like a whole discussion by itself.
I mean, my blurbs
right?
were all really bad, always. I don't know.
Well, writing blurbs is just a whole
but I think
other skill set, isn't it?
With a serial on like Royalroad.
I love writing blurbs.
Yeah. You like marketing though. So yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, with
blurb writing feels like removing all my toenails very slowly.
Oh no! But with Royalroad, you have like all these lists and stuff. So like people are gonna check out like stories that are like on Rising Stars or whatever. They're not necessarily gonna. I mean, they will look at the blurb. It is very important there. Okay. I mean.
Yeah.
Just annoying, I
guess.
Like
maybe serial readers are a little bit more what's the word? Like they're a little bit more. They'll give it a couple of pages.
Yeah, I also like.
Maybe
I like to explain what it is. Like to just be like, hey, this is like a fantasy story with game elements, and there's gonna be a lot of action and stuff. And that's like, I feel like that works as a blurb on Royalroad or something, because people are just gonna be like,
but not,
oh yeah, I
not
like those
necessarily
things. And then they're gonna check it out.
Context.
I mean, on Amazon or something, it's just gonna look very unprofessional. It's gonna be like, okay, what is this shit? You know, like they're like explaining what it is. I don't know. Seems a bit strange, I guess, but maybe, I don't know. Honestly, I think it could still work. I think it's just like, traditionally speaking, you don't do that. You kind of want to hook the reader already with like a small little snippet of what's going to happen and stuff. Give like an idea of the story and everything, which makes sense. But I wouldn't be like, oh, he's explaining what it's like. I don't know, like, oh, it's a vampire story with a lot of action and blood and romance. I would be like, oh, okay, I'm into that, or like, I'm not into that, and then you could check it out, I guess. But yeah, maybe you're not gonna buy like a book, but you're gonna check out like a chapter on Royalroad. So yeah, it's probably like a price tag related issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with these things, like I find it's hard to know how much stock to put into the blurb. I would say, just from my kind of basic experience, that your cover is 10 times more important than your blurb, because the number of people that just look at a cover and don't even read the blurb is massively high. But the blurb is the next most important thing after the cover, because some people will see the cover and go, "Oh, I'm intrigued," and then read the blurb and maybe go, "Oh, no, I'm not," and walk away. So the blurb can be important, but obviously you've got to get your cover right first, in my opinion, and then you've got to intrigue people with your blurb. I think always less is more with blurbs, because sometimes you can say too much, and then you just like alienate people. But you need to give a hint of the things that exist, so that people know whether that's something that they're into. But it's definitely a science, writing blurbs, and similar to writing, the best thing you can do is do a lot of them and also share them with people and get feedback, right? Ideally, other people that will read your book.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I can read the blurb quickly, and we can maybe make a comment on it, I guess. There's like
We've got...
What?
I was going to say, we're closing in on the 1 hour mark, so up to you.
We can do it next time, I guess. And
yeah, either way, yeah. I'm not fussed.
I mean, let's do it now, because we talked about it. So, this disclaimer here.
It's very short.
First attempt at writing, and it's a couple years old, as of 2018, which is also a couple years old. Try too much, but hey, if you feel like checking it out, do so. Okay, that's already. I mean, obviously, but no one's gonna read it now because I put that there. But yeah, that's the point.
Exactly, which is probably what you meant to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like shit. I was like, I'm not gonna delete it though.
It's like a big signpost saying, "Don't read this."
I mean, it's like good that it's still there, because now we can talk about it. Because otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to be like, oh, hey, look, I still have this shit up. Let's look at it. Okay.
And that is a nice cover as well, if I do say so.
The cover is right. I mean, it actually is. I like the placeholder cover on Royalroad. It looks nice.
That is true.
The logo is nice. I like it. Yeah, I never had one for this one, sadly. Maybe I should commission one, like a really bad one. I mean, no, we wanted to make like an art contest. I will do that in the future, maybe. The world is at war. The clash between the great Saudi Empire and the Brazilian alliance is reaching its climax. I was like looking for like non-standard world powers, I guess. As the bombs fall, signifying the end, many people find themselves in an unknown environment. Confused, naked, and unarmed, the newcomers are attacked by vicious beasts and must work together to survive in this new, unknown world. I mean, it's not bad. It's like, and that
why are they naked?
If someone read that and is like, then reading the prologue, then they know what they're getting into. They're like, this is not going to be...
Yeah, I feel like the blurb and the prologue fit really nicely, and then after that, it all goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yes.
I mean, true. No, short chapters, that's not true. They're like pretty long. I mean, how long is the first one?
I'm curious, like what happened between the prologue and chapter 1 that you just started writing a completely different story?
Oh no, it was like I wanted to shift like different point of views. There's going to be like 3 or 4 more characters that kind of do their own thing, and it's more like a slice of life thing, where there's not really like a cohesive thing, which is something I like to do. There are only small elements from VR RPGs. See, like back then, like lit RPG, I feel like it wasn't a term, or I was not familiar with it. Like people didn't call it that. It was like there's like VR MMO stuff and like game elements. I don't know. The focus is definitely on the world and characters and not stats / grinding. Guess I'd change that with my later writing, but you know. Okay.
And that's a good point. This chapter didn't have any stats in it or anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the next one does. Yeah. 16 followers, my heroes, dude, absolute legends.
Oh, I followed you last week.
5 favorites as well. 6 ratings. Yeah, quite a lot of views, but I mean that's probably because of my other shit, right? No.
I think that the overall, when you go through this and you look at that blurb, it's a decently written blurb.
Yeah, it's really not bad.
Yeah, you know, I mean, a nice cover, remove the disclaimer, remove some of the wars. I mean, it's fine. It's whatever. But like,
I think the only thing that I would say is that you would ideally, in that blurb, like to hint at the actual story in that, you know, who are you actually going to be following? And what
instead of this whole like the world is at war and the Brazilian eyes, blah blah blah. Like Georg is looking at his bow and he sees the world turn to fire.
A man and his bow face the world together.
Yeah, like introduce a character. Like, I mean, a lot of blurbs start with like the character first name, right? Like,
yeah, that's one of the things that supposedly, in quotation marks, is a thing you should do, is name your character to make the readers immediately like connect with the character, because apparently people connect with names.
It sounds like such a marketing thing. It's like sounds like something you would hear in like a lesson about how to write. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be giving advice on
this
advice.
Don't get like too informative.
That would be
Start with the world is at war. I like that. The world is at war.
I don't mind that. I don't know.
No, I mean it's bad. Like
I enjoy a bit of edge.
Character stuff. I'm just fucking around, man. Fine. I like to have the opinion that is not, you know, standard, I guess. So there's reasons why everything like all these things work, right? Like there's a reason why people put the names into the description, into the blurbs and stuff. So yeah.
Hey, if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that Dawn is non-standard. So, you know,
probably
things like Dawn can be out there succeeding, killing it.
Beginning of the Troll Empire.
Beginning of the Troll. Yeah, pretty much. All right. So should we end it then?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly
seems like a good spot.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
It's been
so that was
good.
the prologue of writing Dawn of Writing. Was it? I think it was the Dawn of Writing, right? Podcast.
The Dawn of Writing.
About as edgy as the prologue, right? Yeah, we're gonna talk more about bows and explosive arrows, probably. Maybe not. Yeah.
A man and his bow.
I'm very excited to see how their relationship develops.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I hope there's at least going to be a bow. Maybe not one with explosive arrows. Maybe there's like explosion magic. I don't remember. Which would be cool. Why not? So, yeah.
Well, I guess all that's left is for each of us to say goodbye. I've been Brooke, and I am really looking forward to seeing more M-dashes.
Sure. I was Rhaegar. It was fun talking about my early work.
I was Hiska. I don't know why we're all in the past tense, but it probably means it's time to go.
I don't know. I think I heard some podcast do it one time when they were signing off. Okay. It sounded like a good idea at the time.
I will have been Rhaegar.
I might have possibly been at some point, but I'm not necessarily now.
Cool. That was it, guys. Thanks for listening, and have a good one. Tune in again for chapter 1.
Cheers.